return to Eden. During the holidays, do you ever just want to take a break from all the hustle and bustle and just sit down with a familiar friend for a jolly conversation? Join me today with my special in-studio guest as we veer away from our typical subject matter to have a merry and bright Christmas conversation that will surely bubble over with good cheer. She's the host of the brand new show in the SkyWatchTV network family called Simply His. Please welcome Katherine Horn.
Yay, hi.
Also joining today's conversation is a board-certified holistic health practitioner, a professional fitness and nutrition specialist, COO of SkyWatchTV. Welcome, Joe Horn.
Hey, Charisse.
Hey. Okay. So we're going to have a really fun, light holiday conversation with these guys. We've been personal friends for
too many years.
A long time.
Don't date
I'm
yourself,
not going to
Charisse.
reveal it because it might do a little throwback of my age. So with all that you guys have going on, with Simply His, with SkyWatch, all the things that we're doing here, how do you guys stay sane during the holidays?
Wait a minute. Who's saying that we do?
That's what I was going to say.
You've met us, right?
The chaos is just fun. We try to keep things basic and try to make it work with the kids, but with 4 kids and then running here and there and keeping them entertained because, you know, they're used to they go to daycare and school and then they come home. So when it's Christmas time and they're on Christmas break, like we just had Thanksgiving not too long ago. Yeah. So, you know, that being home with them for all those days, trying to keep them all busy and have things to do, it's kind of gets nuts. The boy, the 4-year-old, likes to make things very interesting.
He's at that age where breaking things just because is the funnest thing on earth.
Good times. Everybody appreciates a little, breakage at the house.
Yeah, and he likes to now try and sneak into the girls' rooms and then break their things. So
how's that going over?
Katherine and I have resigned parenthood to become referees full time.
So we need to get them whistles.
Yeah. We need a
little stripy shirts.
Who can kill who faster is kind of the game we play.
That's so fun. Well,
you guys know. You have children. Many of you. You guys know what we're talking about.
I think it's hilarious, too, because when you had told me that he was getting into the girls' rooms, because girls, I don't know about you girls, but me as a girl, I don't have any siblings, which God knew what he was doing, clearly. If a boy brother would have broke into my room and gotten
I can't
into my
imagine the consequences.
I just could not. I could not. I'm a little particular.
I got a phone call from Kate because our oldest, she's 16. We do have a phone for her to use when she's at home. But I had ran to the store, or I came here just for a few minutes, and then she's calling me, Mom, you won't believe what Thomas just did. I'm like, okay, what did he do? Is he still alive?
Right, exactly.
Well, he had gone into her room and she had been painting her papa a painting. And then she'd also been working on a project for school, whatever. And she called and said, Thomas got into my paint and he put paint everywhere in my room. So I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, you're kidding.
No.
And
so
she's
that
like
was
the
really
one,
fun.
She's the one that actually cares about her space.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well,
she has little collections of things and organized series of books and toys.
And it's acrylic paint, so I mean, most of it's water cleanup, but if it gets into clothing, and it got on her suitcase and some other things, so she was a little unhappy about that.
So
we're trying to.
He's breathing.
I know, maybe for not much
gracious.
longer.
No, she's
merciful.
She's gracious though. Half the time she plays the role of corrector and tries to make things like that a teachable moment rather than just yell at him,
Right. Man, at 16, if paint is in my room.
But let's flip the script. What are you and Toby planning to do for this holiday?
Gosh.
Is that boy going to stop hunting and being out in the elements? Is he going to come home for a few minutes?
He took Thanksgiving off. That's the only day he's taken off. And yesterday, after church, I finally asked him, I said, are you going to spend the whole day with me? And so we had a whole day, and he took me out to eat, and it was great. But no, we are so excited. We are thinking about, we have grandbabies, and we are thinking about taking them. There's a little town in Oklahoma, I don't know if y'all have ever heard, they do this big Christmas thing, because we're very blessed to live, at the back door of Branson, Missouri. So we've got, a lot of things we can go to that's Christmassy. So, but we're used to that because, we've been here all our life, So we're thinking about taking them and doing something like that, a little close road trip. I don't want to get too crazy and get too far from home. But, something, fun, take a little time, have the babies over. We're going to smoke a prime rib. I'm a little excited about that.
This almost sounds like outdoor stuff, though.
It's
so cold. You're going to smoke outside or what?
Oh, absolutely.
It's Toby.
Well, and I know Toby will be out there, but...
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're not scared of the cold.
I guess.
Yeah.
I was never one of those guys who did the hunting, camping thing. Mm-hmm. No, seriously. It was like, where's the shower?
Now that's me.
Where let me see the comment. And not that I'm above it or any of that. I just literally couldn't deal with the displacement of not having my own place to stretch and my own toothbrush and my own. You got to have the hot showers and
Well, and the thing too for us, which like you guys, and I'm sure all of you, when we go away, even for like the weekend, I have this huge sack of all of my supplements and my mushrooms and my beets and, all the things.
Yeah.
So it's like...
No, that's true.
Yeah, we've talked about maybe buying a camper because just leave the camper packed and loaded.
Right.
And if you want to go for the weekend, you can, because I'm a little OCD. I don't want to
Well, you never know, because I was able to go on a vacation and I just took the kids and me and the kids.
Yeah, but what did I load you up with?
I was just getting there, baby. You're jumping ahead of me. So
There's a war chest.
to pack me up a whole bunch of stuff. And actually on our vacation, little Nita.
Hang on, because you said a little bunch of stuff. They don't know.
Okay, a bunch of supplements.
Nutritional things.
Okay, in
Nature's
case one of the kids got this or one of the kids got
this. This is for infection.
Right.
This is for,
No, I've been in the house.
You feel a cold or flu coming on.
There's a whole whiteboard in their house of who gets what when.
No, that's true.
You have to have it.
At our house, that's common practice. Okay, so loaded her up with, this is for cold and sinus. This is for infection. This is for ear and nose and throat. This is for...
This is just for the daily.
Because you never know.
You never know, because we all know kids get sick, especially when you're on vacation or it's something like that. So it actually worked out really handy because Nita stepped on a stingray.
They went to the coast.
We went to the beach and she stepped on a stingray. And so I texted Mark over at Healing Arts and I said, hey, Nita stung. Yes, you did. He's great. And so I texted him. I said, hey, Nita just stepped on a stingray. What should we do? The doctors want her to be on antibiotics, and we didn't really want to go that route if we didn't have to. And thankfully, there was no stinger that didn't break off in her foot or anything, so it was just more the risk of infection.
Sure.
It did, though, enter the heel of her foot on one side and come almost completely through the other side of her heel.
Gnarly.
So it was a good 1 inch. Almost all the way through the
it actually still bothers her to a degree. But anyways, I texted him and I said, hey, Joe did send me with a bunch of supplements and this is what I have. What would you recommend me to do? And so he said, well, have her start on this. And then he gave me a list of things to do. So we started her on it.
That's because you're just not telling it all the way. Critical details. Well, they had to go to the ER, right?
Well,
she's in catastrophic pain, a stingray.
Sure.
And what's funny is my oldest daughter, Kate, I wasn't there, but they were telling me she knew immediately because she watches the National Geographic Channel and owns
Discovery.
Used to have all these reptiles and studies this different species and watches that show with the guys that sting themselves with the world's most painful, and then they rate the pain and the devastation.
Yep.
Idiotic.
She knew before the lifeguard on scene. That's a stingray.
Yeah,
she's asking her, where does the pain stop? Okay, it's up behind the knee. It's that high. Okay,
she's like, it's a stingray then.
Well, so they go to the emergency room, make sure there's no particles of the stinger and whatever. Sure. And the doctors there are telling them, it's standard to go with antibiotics.
Oh,
yeah.
So
now, I'm not diagnosing. I'm not telling you what you should do if you get stung with a stingray, but the Horn family just does things a little different. As often as we can afford to, we try to steer away from the kind of side effects that, antibiotics. They came up with a protocol, and it was really obscure. This is not stuff you would have on vacation.
No, why would you?
Do you have Conjaplex? Do you have this other standard process herb? And...
Of course, because...
Of course they did.
Thanks to Mr. Time Bomb.
Yes. So we had everything that we needed for that.
Yeah, praise the Lord.
Thankfully we had it. So she was able to start that before we even got home because we were still supposed to be there for a couple more days. So it worked out super handy that we had it, and then we didn't have to go with the antibiotics. So it was pretty handy. But yeah, traveling with just his supplements alone, we've had to do that a couple of times too. And that's we've had to actually send a care box, usually before ahead of us, even with his parents or something, because a couple times they've met us on the other end and we've flown. So instead of carry all of them, because some of them are liquid and we didn't want to risk them getting broken or whatever, and you can only have so much on a carry.
Hot and cold.
Yes, and on carry-ons, you can only have so many ounces and things like that. So we usually will send a whole big box of stuff ahead.
That's great.
So it makes it interesting.
No kidding. Makes it very interesting. It's like, here's my luggage, and then there's like 6 boxes and bags and of all the
6
supplements.
crates is for the supplements.
Here's a pallet.
Pretty much.
Hope you have a forklift at the hotel.
What we try to do, because the kids get so much from their grandparents, my mom and dad, we try to be respectful in the sense that we always feel guilty like getting rid of things that our family has given the kids. But man, when you see their bedrooms, it's just, they have so much stuff, they can't even play with it all.
Yeah.
So what we do is we have like a 3 to 4 year phase. So like every 3 to 4 years, but every year we get rid of stuff that was 2 to 3 years ago.
Yeah.
With the exception of things that are super sentimental and you just can't build a bear, stuff like that. You're just not going to get rid of those.
Yeah. Right.
And then we try to find homes, and if not, we donate.
Yeah.
But
we usually donate.
That's very sweet.
Usually is the way that it goes.
But I'm not allowed. I'm not permitted. My dad, he's made it very clear. I didn't raise all of you to make grandbabies to then cut me off of the gift train.
Yeah.
To deny them access to just buying a bag of stuff for every kid every year is not permissible.
No, I get it.
So
I understand that sentiment.
But at the same time, you've only got so much house.
Well,
right?
Yeah, get a shed.
Build it, and then don't tell my dad that I have it. Oh, now we can really go nuts,
extra. Well, speaking of your parents, so what is a favorite thing that you guys like to do as a family?
This year, having my dad. Honest to God.
Huge.
Viewers may know that he was in the hospital with COVID a few weeks ago, and he's recovering well, but it was...
Praise the Lord.
We didn't know there for a while. In October.
It was pretty scary.
There was about a 7 to 10 day run there where we were having a different conversation. And it was
so scary.
It was very sobering. And you know that if time and place continues on, at some point, nobody wants to say goodbye to a loved one or a parent. Children ought to survive their parents.
Yeah.
For anybody watching this show that has lost someone to COVID, my heart breaks for you because it's just a frightening to see him taken to the hospital. You're not there face to face. There's no visitors. There's no...
the communication is tough.
Communication's really limited to like maybe a phone call per day.
Wow.
The nurses have a lot on their mind.
Sure.
So you're trying to get information. Anyway, just... You ask what is our favorite thing this year, it's literally Thanksgiving, Christmas, my favorite thing. And my mom also had it. Now get this, because I know we're not talking, it's Return to Eden. We should talk a little something about nutrition. My mom is never sedentary.
Yep.
She is constantly outside with all the germs and the dirt and the horses and the outdoors and the allergens and the sunlight, and she's got D reserves and the organisms of touching the horses and then wiping her forehead and just being out in it all the time.
Yeah.
Her COVID was so light that it was like, I think there's a little tickle maybe at the very top of my throat right here.
Sinusy infection
and she was really, kind of maybe a real light sinus infection.
Wow.
And she would go outdoors if it was really cold. She was a little more sensitive to that. But by the grace of God and then loading her up with nutrition.
Yeah.
My dad too.
And thank the Lord for, we've had shows on our professional grade supplement line, Eden's Essentials, and you've had him on those for quite some time.
Right.
So,
he's actually going to come on this show and do a proper thank you to all of the supporters and prayers and the people that took time.
Incredible.
And we're going to really try to unpack as much of that journey as we can. So stay tuned because it's coming. Because he's going to talk, and I'm not going to steal his thunder. There's some stuff I've never heard my dad emote
Wow.
before the way he did coming out of the COVID. He's just like this indomitable personality that never stops, you know.
Yeah.
Larger than life, worries for nothing.
Yeah.
He could get hit by a bus this afternoon. He's not going to live in any panic about it. He just knows where he's going, you know.
Yeah.
And none of that has changed, but he's got some very sobering reflections based on that journey. That was right at the same time we lost like 5 dear friends
Yeah.
to COVID all at the same time. So anyway, just what are we thankful for this year?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, my family, having
Soaking
them
in
here,
that time.
soaking it up.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
And then,
Thankful for every day.
Yeah. Our kids do have a couple of traditions, though, that they absolutely love.
Yeah.
For Thanksgiving and Christmas, they love going to Grandma's house and baking with Grandma. They get, like, Kate made some pies for Thanksgiving and is going to do it again for Christmas.
How fun.
Nita made cookies
Gluten-free.
and then rolled them out and had little shapes and everything. It was a lot of
Gluten-free.
fun. Gluten-free, yeah. It's all... Well, obviously, it has still sugar in it.
Yeah,
So
some of them they put some sugar
It's a
in.
sometimes treat.
It's a sometimes treat. It's for
Yeah. I
like to
making
say.
a memory.
Do you know what I did?
So-
Do you know what I did?
What?
So I fasted. I'm not making this up. So I fasted for like 2 days in the lead up to Thanksgiving.
Oh.
And then ate moderately without being a glutton and didn't feel guilty about having some of the pie.
That's interesting that you say that. You know, somebody that we have on staff here, she did that.
I didn't gain weight.
She was really excited, you know, and she's, you know, working her way up to fasting to be able to have, you know, that
Yeah.
sometimes treat. That's exciting.
Not saying you have to fast every year.
No.
It probably ought to be for more spiritual reasons. The fasting.
Not
That was a
just
bit of
the
a
mashed
confession
potatoes.
there. Yeah. Yeah.
Or the pie.
But the kids love to do that. We always go down early, you
Yeah.
know, and hang out and make memories. And Kate loves making the deviled eggs and the stuffing. And Nita does a lot of the baking type things and then helps with making gravy or whatever it is. And this year I think she made the cranberry sauce. So they always have a fun time going down there and making a big memory with their grandma and grandpa.
That's
so
a big deal.
it is a
really
big deal. They look forward to it every year. Becca's still not quite there because she's still a little bit littler.
Yeah.
So she's still
She's
kind of
getting there,
figuring it
though.
out, though.
She's getting there.
Yeah, pretty soon she'll start being with the mix, too.
Right, for sure.
So-
So you, personally, you grew up as a missionary kid
Yep.
in Vanuatu and the Solomon Islands. So, you know, talking about memories, what are some of your favorite memories of the holidays when you were there?
So it was very tropical. Because we're on the other side of the equator and the international date line,
Yeah.
everything is switched. So December is our hottest times of the year.
Which is hard for us to
Yes, so
comprehend.
while you guys all have snow in winter and it's cold, it's like blazing hot over there. So almost every year for Christmas, we would do some kind of a beach thing. So I grew up going to the beach and going water skiing for Christmas. That was our Christmas.
Oh my gosh. Oh my
So-
gosh.
A little bit different. And my dad would sometimes, we had some friends and stuff that owned a little island that had a resort on it.
Yeah.
So we would go stay there for Christmas, you know, go up Christmas Eve or something and stay over Christmas. And
fun.
so we'd go fishing or spear fishing or diving and trolling, all of that kind of stuff
Those are
for
some
Christmas.
incredible memories at Christmas
Yes.
time, which, you know, most of us are watching a parade
Uh-huh.
or, you know.
Yeah, we didn't know what that was until we would come back to the States. And then when we were itinerating, and then we would kind of do like all of you guys do, where you go to 5 different people's houses
Right,
for
right.
different Christmas / Thanksgiving
Yep.
things. You'd go
Or the-
spend with this family and then this family.
Yeah.
So it was always a little bit different. But that's how I grew up. And actually, there's a parody that a lot of the MKs have. I'm dreaming of a green Christmas and hot, you know, instead
Right,
of I'm
because-
dreaming of a cold, wintry, snowy Christmas. We
Right.
dream of going to the beach again.
Back to the tropics.
Yes.
Did you guys, because your parents had a church there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So did you guys do like Christmas programs or?
Yes and no.
Because your kids do. That's why I'm asking.
Yes, our kids always did, but no, what we would do is we would have a caroling Sunday. Like if
Oh.
depending on when Christmas landed, we
Yeah.
would sometimes do like a potluck, like a church potluck for Christmas, and then we would sing like
That's
carols,
fun.
and it just be more of a music type thing. And then somebody would sometimes do the Christmas story.
Oh, yeah.
But it was never like a full...
Like a structured cantata.
No, yeah. It was never really like that. Because with the language barrier, it's a little bit different, too.
There's that.
Because I grew up speaking a different language, so it was never as much of a thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Each church would, or a lot of the churches would come together for a big, like
a community
conference
type
kind of a thing. Yeah, and then each church would like have different specials or something that they would sing, or a little skit that they would do.
Oh, yeah.
And actually, one of the times our church went out as a church family, and we went to a secluded island, and we had a barbecue / played games on the beach and went.
Oh my gosh.
So we did that. We had like an Olympic Christmas. So we had different games that we played and stuff, and it was a fun Christmas thing that we did. So
that
it was very,
amazing.
very different from what we
I'm just sitting here thinking, why did you marry me? I'm serious. Like,
the whole audience is asking.
that is true. Everybody here probably thinks that from time to time. What?
Well, we've actually teased. Me and the kids have teased, because I would love to take my kids to see where I grew up, but we've all agreed Daddy gets to stay home.
No, yeah, well, we've already covered that. I don't love to camp, and where's the shower and stuff. So and I've heard these stories. They're all eating on these leaves, and everybody. It's a big community of.
Heck yeah.
It's outside, and
The flies.
there's no hand washing station or individual plates that separate the dishes.
There's not even hand sanitizer,
It's
people.
just no. I'm serious. Like I don't eat. Well, I don't eat out anymore, hardly ever anyway. But even when I did, and I cared nothing for my health, I still wouldn't eat the buffet stuff because of the tongs and the. We're talking way pre-virus on everybody's mind mode. I just don't like touching stuff, man, that others have touched and whatever. I don't share things, and
No, he doesn't.
So some of what she's describing is like I've never been able to square.
Yeah, no, we've decided that we'll leave Daddy
It's a
home
hot
on
no.
that. So
Yeah.
we'll take my parents with us, and they can help supervise.
FaceTime.
Well, and then here's the other thing. So these games they would play, like they would go to a lagoon and swing down on a rope and jump off the side of this rock cavern and hit a pool that you hope is deep enough to, right?
No, you knew it was deep enough.
But they knew all the spots, and don't worry about it. And I've seen tape. It looks like you guys are having a ball.
Yeah.
Would I not have a stroke?
He'd have a stroke.
Yeah.
If I was there with my kids, and the water, guys, it's too deep. The current is moving. How do you know you're going to clear the rocks? What if you were to slip and land on the edge
So guess
of the...
what we used to do?
You know this.
They all know
I cannot
this. Yes.
handle... And here's one last thing. Every one of the kids in their family, they ended up breaking bones or have scars to show for it, or broken wrists or things.
I was the only one that broke a bone.
Oh, well, Andy with his vicious cut
Well,
that
he
your
cut
dad
himself open.
took a stick and like taped his hand around a stick because he filleted his hand open with a fishing knife, and just they all have these scars and horror stories. But I guess it's perspective, because they always looked at it living life to the fullest, right?
Sure.
Mine would be living life, avoiding a stroke every hour. Right?
Yes.
I just safety.
Oh my
But then again, I was the safety coordinator at Camp Davidson too. So my brain is always like, where's the EMT?
Plus, you had your mom.
Is our address
was a little
posted
bit more like
visibly so
that.
people know where to send the paramedics? Like, and I was raised by my mom, who's exactly the same way. But
Yeah, we
anyway.
did not grow up that way.
That's
My dad was
hilarious.
the biggest kid out of
still
everybody.
is.
I was watching a home
still is.
video 3 weeks ago with my family,
Yeah.
and here's her little brother. I'm not exaggerating. Guys, come on, somebody take my side here. Her little brother is what, maybe 8?
No,
Maybe
he would have
9?
been 7,
7?
Rebecca's age.
Okay, so he's like 7 years old. I'm not kidding you. They're in this hut that's made out of like wood, and they've logged and milled, and you can see cracks to the outside. He is, I swear, up, was it a story and a half?
Yeah.
He's not harnessed in. He has just figured out where to hang onto the wall, and he has climbed up a story and a half up into the rafters, and nobody's freaking out about this at
Who
all.
does that sound like?
Thomas.
That's just common.
Well,
It's
he calls
fine.
him Thanos sometimes.
They just climb. You're in the islands. Nobody's worried. And what was funny is I mentioned that to one of your parents who were just looking at me like, you would even think about that detail? Like, he's fine, isn't he? And I'm like, please, if he slips, come down and land gently on,
Oh, dude,
something.
we fell out of stuff all the time.
I'm telling you, man, that's
It was
life-changing
great.
kind of fall, right?
we just didn't.
It's clear we don't.
You just didn't fall.
We don't take Joe on these kinds of trips.
No, you stay home.
Yeah,
you get to stay home for sure.
He would stay home. Big time.
So dangerous. I'm not only picturing the like when he lands, but the number of other logs he's going to hit.
Like cartoon. The cartoon hit tink, tink, tink. Yeah, that's hilarious.
He would have been fine.
And you're the only one that broke something?
Yeah. Well, my sister did end up breaking, but she was a lot older when she broke it, and it was more of a slip and fall kind of a thing. So she wasn't even doing anything dangerous.
Monkeying around.
No, mine was my older brother was nice enough to help me break mine.
Oh.
Yes, we had a tree house that my dad had built for us, and it had like a ladder thing, but then it also you could climb up the tree and get in there too. So me and my older brother were playing, and I was hanging, and I was trying to learn how to hang with one arm, kind of a thing. Well, he was rushing me, and so then he pinched my arm and smacked it and said, "Mosquito." And so I let go with that arm, so I'm still hanging. And then he did it to the other arm too, and so then I let go, and I was only like, 5? I was getting ready to start kindergarten, so I was 4 or 5-ish. Probably about 5. Anyway, so then I fell and I broke my arm, and I lifted it. I'm screaming. I'm like, look. And my hand is literally parallel with my arm. So it was really nice. And then he scooped me up like a nice big brother after the fact.
Aftercare was really solid.
And so then Mom heard me screaming, and Jill, my older sister, heard me screaming. So they both... Because you know how it is. If you're a mom or a big sister, you can tell the difference. Because even Kate does that with Thomas. She's like, that's not a good scream.
Right.
So they got me fixed up, and they took me to the hospital and fixed my arm, and I'm fine.
You're still doing? You can still wave.
I can still wave.
We may have to continue next week.
I'm so excited that you guys. I got more to talk about with you two, so you'll have to come back.
Okay.
We are all out of time. Thank you for spending part of your day with me. Eat better. Feel better, live better. We'll learn more together next time on Return to Eden.
Millions of Americans are suffering a health crisis epidemic right now completely unnecessarily. But what if I told you it didn't have to be this way? The truth for many is that the real culprit of modern disease is simply a lack of God-given knowledge. In Unlocking Eden, we provide hopeful, scientifically supported revelations regarding how you can access freedom from the bondages of disease. SkyWatchTV is proud to announce the Unlocking Eden Special Collection. From the importance of detoxification, circadian rhythm, intermittent fasting, and unburdening metabolic pathways to maximizing immunity, methylation, and absolute essentials like quality sleep, Unlocking Eden is filled cover to cover with groundbreaking information that can help unlock the body's natural healing mechanisms, which can revolutionize your health and your life. Sold separately, these items hold a retail value of over $150. Yours now for a donation of only $35 plus shipping and handling. So revolutionize your health, maximize your immunity, and restore your vitality. The Unlocking Eden Special Collection, available now at the SkyWatchTV store online. Order now or call 1-844-750-4985.